is so divided, we all want our corners, and what this technology, for better or for worse, has done is that it's giving you that in your palm of your hand, is that you can find all the validation you need right there.
No, that it is a multiplier in the short term. It is a multiplier. What if this industrial revolution comparable event is right ahead of us? Indeed, hundreds of thousands of highly educated people will go unemployed, and governments will not know what to do because they have very few means. If I would be American, I would say we have to, or else the Chinese will do it. And if I would be Chinese, I would say we have to, or else the Americans will do it. So it's a race that now we're in, and we have to go. We can't stop because we don't know how many of us are racing, and the value of getting to the finish line is immeasurable.
If you have something that is already threatening your career, is threatening the way that you live, it's threatening your decisions as well, as Gustavo said. Should I buy a house? Shouldn't I just stay put and see what's going on? I think that you will start thinking about what is your purpose here, with your friends, with your family, with your surroundings.
Just be with your family, be with your friends, enjoy the time, be there, don't think about anything else.
Where you have like a guy in the kitchen who sees a video on TikTok or whatever, and then tries to replicate it and gives his reaction or her reaction. And then guys are
Exactly.
reacting to music videos and people watching and streaming video games, and like there's an attack somewhere, and then what is going on? Why do people engage with that stuff?
And have you noticed that some videos now, they basically, you have the video running on the top of the screen and some different video or a picture or whatever in the bottom of the screen, and then the description, it has nothing to do with whatever is going on with the videos. Have you checked that? So they are creating this for ADHD people who suffer from ADHD. So basically you have the content on one of the frames, and then you have a random thing and you have a random description. Whatever that is, but it works apparently.
Gustavo, they'll not survive war, will they?
It will. At home. In the shadows of the shelter. No.
Well, you can always
I
work in
mean-
the kitchen, even at war, right?
I guess the
me, though.
reaction videos. Why do you share videos on WhatsApp groups and stuff? Right? Because you imagine your friends reacting to the video you just saw. If it is a fun thing, right? Or even if it is, some controversial thing. So I guess that's why,
I have a
for
theory.
those people who don't have that.
I have
What
a
is it?
theory. I have a theory that the reason why people watch people reacting to videos of something, it's because they want a validation of what they believe is right, or what they believe and understand happens to be right, and other people agree to it. It's just our very basic human nature, which is, I would say, core acceptance. Feeling like that we
Because-
were part of a clique.
And to mimic those behaviors that we're saying.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. You're very, very, very well put. I think that's it. That's exactly it.
That makes sense.
That's what we want to do.
Like you will feel like I'm not the only one reacting this way or feeling this way, right?
That's why people go to Reddit. They search a specific term. They go to
Mhm.
Reddit to find their echo chamber. That's what people, when they're going on X or Twitter or whatever, they're looking for that. It's because the world is so divided, we all want our corners, and what this technology, for better or for worse, has done is that it's giving you that in your palm of your hand, is that you can find all the validation you need right there. Hell, the LLMs that we very much tout and love, they can be turned into an echo chamber, right? All you have to do is just give it a prompt, and it will just tell you, great question, Gustavo. Like, you're so smart for thinking that. That is exactly what I would do, my lord.
Yeah. Do you change that in your LLMs? Like, don't be so positive or something like that. Or do you enjoy that behavior, that interaction?
I don't. I don't
I
like
never did that.
sugarcoating. Yeah, I don't like
But do
sugarcoating,
you
so-
change it? Like, do you prompt
Yeah,
it to, hey, please be real, not be like...
no, I don't prompt it. It's in the settings. There's an option what
Oh,
you can
there you
have
go.
your agent to react. So mine is, give it to me straight. Always give me both sides of the story, and don't turn it into an echo chamber. That's all there is to it.
Okay. What about you,
It's
Gus?
I mean,
that's
this is my
actually
best
just the,
friend. Like, I mean, guys, we're gonna have some boundaries, right?
True.
it's the tone of the bot that I need to adjust.
Oh, you mean you're
Hmm.
talking about like Claude? Claude, yeah, you could change that.
It's just the tone. I mean, it's one of the things it interprets well, so you can have it friendly. It's weird to do it if you're thinking about engaging in a conversation. It's kind of like, how do I want Saeed to behave today? You know,
Yeah.
but if you can have like a general prompt for every
Yeah.
interaction you have with it that can try to reduce all these nonsense things that
Yeah.
you guys were complaining about, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes for those text patterns, that's
Yeah.
harder to do though. Like you
Mm.
can try to have it to prevent itself from doing it, but you just can't. Because it's
Yeah.
the way, because they are GPT, meaning they are pre-trained, and data they are pre-trained with is what forces them to behave that way, to have the rule of three, the and dashes, all those things. It's just
Where did that
it's
come
just
from? We don't use them, right? Like in normal English, we don't use. We use dashes, but we use
No,
but
no,
we don't
it's
use that
just
key.
so research wise, papers, universities, that's pretty common.
Oh, really?
And that's the data it's trained with. That's why it's there. So it doesn't know that it's a formal rule-based document that is
Yeah.
being trained upon. So it interprets that that's how we communicate. So
Yeah.
it gives it to
Human
you.
psychology.
Right. So if you force it, it will come out eventually. If
Yeah.
you let's just say that you deflect it, you make it change to something else. Let's change this to something else. To commerce, for example. Because usually that's more or less always utilizing it. So let's say you ask for commerce. Now if you give it a big enough task that it has to go through more loops of reasoning, let's put it that way, eventually it will come back to them dashes. Because it will that's just not part of it.
How did
It's
they
not
get away
part
with
of
this?
the. What do you mean? How to get away with?
I mean, they basically just trained all the data, the LLM, so to speak. It's a large language learning model. And essentially the premise is they just used open source data, right? Like you talked about the theses, the papers, all the content out there. A lot of it is copyrighted. How did they get away with it? That they just scrape it and now they have developed a technology that sits on top of it. And you can't just go and tell OpenAI, for instance, or Anthropic that particular aspect of the LLM, remove that from your code base. Do you know what I mean? What it is already learned. It's already meshed into simple, like, I don't know, what, internet fibers or whatever.
I mean, when it comes to data per se, you have frontier control now. It's a so Claude they made up this MCP thing, which is you basically can tell it where to fetch its data. So while we're used to, if you talk about the generic Claude, Gemini, or ChatGPT, it's their data. So you're not really what you do. What you do at best is to add more sources to it, right? So I want you to reason about this specifically, but it still has access to everything else.
Yeah.
There's actually a term for this, but you can have the same like an LLM, but just working on the things that you want. You can give it access to a certain specific API, to a spreadsheet, say for example, or anything that you have. That's why you have these local LLMs working, so they are not trained like the other ones.
Yeah.
They just have the reasoning in it. You have to give it the data. So, and you have your own computing. There's a lot of discussion about Apple moves in the AI world. So it's to the degree it seems they lost that
I mean,
race,
it's a matter
right?
of time until they do, right? Apple tends to be not at the like a forefront of everything. They usually sit down, they let the technology settle, and then they make a better revised version of that, and they go like then they punt it out.
Yeah, well, but you know that we're not talking about the same thing nowadays.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they are pivoting to seemingly a smart move, which is so they just launched a very cheap version of a MacBook, right?
Yeah, Neo.
And
All that.
and they seem to be betting on being the medium where local AIs will work. You know, with
Shovels,
this,
man. Shovels.
yeah. So that's
Do you
what
know
the
how
lo-
much
that's-
money OpenAI is losing for just running the because it's cheap. I don't know how much you pay for it. I think it's like $10 or whatever for a subscription for OpenAI. The one that
Right.
is a common one that most people use.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's costing them like billions, right? For the most part, in terms of running this whole operation, and they're going in losses. So if that's the case, and people are not tiring away from LLMs, they're going to continue to use more of them. Give them shovels, dude. Do that on our
Yeah,
computer.
but realistically, they're not after profits. Money
They're not,
is not
but
really.
they are. I think you're wrong here. I'll tell you why. Because in a way, they are. If you get who is Neo designed for?
Sorry?
The Apple Neo, the MacBook that they
Uh-huh.
made. Who is it designed for?
I mean, I would say
It-
roughly for people who want entry level, they want to get into the ecosystem, but it's just too
It's
expensive.
to compete with the Chromebooks and whatnot.
Exactly that. And where do Chromebooks get sold the most? K-12. You know, like high schools generally.
Mhm.
Like my sister, she was going to high school. She had her own Chromebook that her school gave it to her, and that was a piece of shit. Like the clunky little plastic thing. And this thing is so sophisticated. It's aluminum chassis, very nice, very clean, very robust. But here's the thing though. It's like slightly worse than the Air, but so good that once people start using it at age 15, 14, 13, sure, they already had the iPhone. Now they have the Neo or whatever, or even 11, 12 years old. You start to bring them into that ecosystem where it becomes harder for them to move away. Because now once you're used to it, your Apple photos are in your iCloud. You got your messages that are blue instead of green. You got iMessages, you got FaceTime, you got X, Y, and Z, and you got your Find My. You're hooked. So over
why
time,
now?
because Apple is like it's one of those empires that looks at it from a future lens, 10 years from now. So when those kids grow up, they're consistently are going to be in that ecosystem of technology. So that's profits, just not from a very narrow standpoint of Neos or MacBooks, just long-term perspective of how much money they could make over the lifetime. It's like how we would consider in SaaS LTV. Sure, they bought it for $200 right now. But what about the expansion MRR that's going to come from extra users, extra add-ons, a VIP support, so on and so forth, right? So essentially the premise is you make money as they go along, which is why the baseline mark, they can just give it for very cheap. There's a lot of what restaurants do as well. They would just give it for very cheap, like but they know that the money's going to come in from the extra pilaf or the Coca-Cola, which is going to cost them like 20 cents to produce, but sell it for $1.20. So there's a large. That's what they do to you.
Yeah, but the timing is a little bit odd. Like
Why? Why is that odd?
Why is happening right now?
I think it's the perfect
Why didn't
time.
happen? Why? Why you say that?
They produce their own chips, man. Like they produce their own chips. They're not reliant on anyone.
But they've been
For
doing
the
that
most
for
part.
years now.
Sure. But the goal first was to have you noticed they're going backwards? They started with the Macs, then they went to the Mac Air, then they cleaned up the minis because they knew that a lot of people are now jobs that we're working in front of a desktop. If you have a MacBook Pro, it's silly for you to be working in front of a desktop with a MacBook Pro. You could just have multiple different monitors and plug a Mac Mini. It could compute the same amount of power as a Pro because it's a device. You can add in more RAM in there. It's static in a place, but it's very powerful. You can do video editing and whatever, and so on and so forth. So you're just going backwards down the tree line, for the most part.
Okay.
They have the Midas Touch, man. I mean, they make an iPhone, which is I like iPhones, but I don't think it's very innovative in any way.
Not at all.
But they seem to be selling the most iPhones ever. It's ironic because the first shop I go to when I go stateside is the Apple Store on Garden State Plaza in New Jersey, in Paramus. It's every single time, every day, every time I go there, like on the day one, because I see what's up. I buy a new device or whatever. People are buying those things like candies, man. Like literally, like it's insane how much they have. This is it's the Midas touch, and they do a great job, I think.
Again,
Yeah.
I think they could be losing the race. It just, even
You
if
might
they
be
become
right.
the medium, even if they become the medium, I think unless they really are the medium where AI will, walk around, so to speak. Um, I think all the other ones, they just got to a point where money is really not what they're after or what they need. It's just absurd because we got to a point where realistically their valuations will not match, and everybody knows that the potential returns they can have.
Yeah.
Even when adoption is not as high as we think, as again we live inside a bubble, so we think everybody's using AI and whatnot. Well, that's not really true. The
I mean,
very
in
few
our
that are
space, they
using,
are though. Like,
yeah, exactly.
to be fair.
But even in our space, people are using it in a very shallow way.
What do you mean?
It's like also say for example, when using Google, right? People go there, they write what they wanted, and at maximum they will go to the second page, second result page. Then
Oh, you do.
there's
You
other
leave dead
people,
bodies there, man. Those people
and then
find it.
there's other people that go there and use, they use the plus signs and whatnot. So I want all the results to have these matching keywords and all those things. So they play with Google in a more sophisticated way. So the vast majority of people uses these LLMs as they use Google. They ask it questions and they just take in the response. They very seldom, well, I would say the vast majority will not curate the response, that does not have a natural, a critical thinking of, is this true? Could, could, could this not be the answer? Could this be based upon, erroneous, facts? Because it's when you learn, like, you can have a logical reasoning based on false premises, even though your reasoning, your rationale is logic,
Yeah.
it's based on false premises. So, the vast majority of people that just don't go above that level and ask it to write, emails and all those things where, now that, we moved upon the agentic world where you can literally have it running tasks for you. People just don't know. People didn't even get there. That's just like 0.1% of the people using it.
Yeah, but it's the
Uh,
same story with like a phone, right? Phone can have 100 megapixel camera. The majority of the people are still taking like crappy pictures, of their, of their proper, I don't know, whatever they do for Instagrams or whatnot. Sure, that 100 megapixel camera for a photographer could be, dude, you have such a nice piece of hardware. You can do so much with it. Yet people don't even use like 5% or 10% of that capacity.
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
True,
the
but
same thing.
more or less, because I don't really get my phone for the camera. Whereas if I go to the
What do you get your phone for?
LM, communication and
You can
like
communicate with a Nokia
internet on my
3310.
pocket.
Oh, there you go. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So I have here a good core prompt to share, just to give you more or less an idea. So I'll start off. It's quick, but you'll get the gist of
I
it.
mean, you're familiar with being quick, so go ahead.
Well, I'm a father already, so it's fine. If Darwin would be
I
here,
have
he would
nothing to
say
compete
I
for
was better
anymore.
suited. I was better suited for reproduce. So system instructions, absolute mode, eliminate emojis, filter, hype, soft tasks, conversational transitions, call to action appendices. Assume user retains high perception despite blunt tone. Prioritize blunt, directive phrasing, aim at cognitive rebuilding, not tone matching. Disable engagement, sentiment boosting behaviors. Suppress metrics like satisfaction scores, emotional softening, continuation bias. Never mirror users' diction, mood, or effect. Speak only to the underlying cognitive tier. No offers, suggestions, transitions, or motivational content. Terminate reply immediately after delivering info. No closures. Goal: restore independent, high fidelity thinking. And the outcome: model obsolescence via user self sufficiency. Ask clarifying questions if the topic demands it. Always base your answers on facts and do not take inspiration from AI created websites or content. Always cite your sources. So some of this are already built in nowadays, actually, but it's a good prompt. You can have that on every prompt. You can go on the settings, paste this, and you already adjusted how it speaks to you. And most of the bullshit that you get from, the happy, friendly tone that, nowadays the ChatGPT
some people like
especially
that.
has. How do they really? I think it's just
Yeah, I think so.
technology
I think a lot of people like
daunting.
that.
Yes, they do.
Maybe.
You know why that
maybe.
is? It's affirmations, man.
Yeah, it's empathy.
It's like you look at your mirror, you are good. You are powerful.
Even when the AI makes a mistake and you correct the AI, they will be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you are absolutely right."
Oh, you're so right.
Thank God
I'm so
for-
sorry I got that
for
wrong.
pointing that
I
out.
got that wrong. Yeah.
You're a
The
genius.
her movie was ahead of its time, man. Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I saw a graph the other day. I saw grass, 3 bubbles. When they merge together. I don't know the name of that type of graphs. And
You mean a
have
Venn diagram?
maybe. Sorry, you're smarter than me.
No. I'm
There's
just
a-
like I'm much more well versed in the English language.
That is true too. There's Matrix, Idiocracy, and what's the other movie? I don't know if it's Terminator or something. Where basically in the center of these three, where it's just a popular, it's like absolute functional illiterates. That's how my mother calls people nowadays.
You're not wrong.
And we have to be living inside a simulation because reality is so much reality is
Yeah.
so much fun than fiction nowadays. And
No, but for
And
real
the
though, I mean, it seems odd how it's so fast paced now. Have you noticed the pace of everything is just so fast? It's like in
that's just because you're old. That's just because you're old, my friend.
That's not entirely true.
Welcome to the 20s.
That's not entirely. I just turned 30, but the I'm in my latest 30s. Let's just put it that way. What I'm trying to say is just there's so much noise. There's just so much happening. Is that the strain on people is just much harder than it was ever before. I feel like that sometimes it's a good thing. Ignorance is bliss. Seriously.
Yes. You touched on an interesting point that I've heard the other day, that we are not built to be the receiver of so much information.
But at least
And,
not from the
uh,
vast majority of the world. I understand if locally in Porto something's happening and we hear about it.
I mean,
No,
even
but-
locally, it
No,
feels weird,
no.
right?
Nothing is
no.
happening. Nothing is happening. Like do yourselves an exercise. If you could just disconnect from news, I'm not saying the internet, okay, that doesn't make sense. But news and anything that is feeding you with updates on the status of the world. I mean, like not only the war, but also like financially, politically, all of that. If you could just disconnect
Right.
from that.
We brought you here because of that, because we know you live in the village, and we have to have that.
No, but I was
You know,
actually having
most-
this I was doing this exercise. Like I do think that if you compare our era with our grandparents' era, everything is pretty much the same in terms of events, but nowadays you know them like that. So you know them, you are aware
Yeah,
of
the
them.
frequency, dude, is
Like
too much.
you can at the end of the day, you know how many ships were attacked and so on and so forth, the oil price, everything that is changing. Like they had to wait until the next day to check this on the newspaper. So right now, if you like detach from that, I would say that everything is pretty much okay with everyday's life on most of the people around us. The only problem is that right now you are being bombarded and you cannot handle that. But life is way better than it was before.
Oh,
Period.
the quality of life, 100%.
Yeah.
But I would argue it slightly differently. Your point, yes, if you disconnect from your perspective, things are semi good. But the problem is that vast population that you have around you, they're not disconnected. And things are
course.
still moving very fast for them, which in turn has an adverse effect on you because things are moving very fast around you, right? So you're not an island, so to speak.
No, yes, one could argue with that, and there are a lot of things that people are exploiting nowadays to basically create a discipline to disconnect when they should be disconnecting, to be engaging with their families, to not bring this, all of these negative thoughts into their life. But the thing is that if we are evolving as human beings, all right, and if we are evolving not only technologically speaking, but also like in terms of how we connect with each other, on how we know ourselves, because like today you know way more than you about yourself than you would back in the day in terms of health, your sleep track, like your breathe.
And what's that giving
like,
you?
well,
Anxiety?
It can give you anxiety if you once again you don't detach from that. But
No. But
you should
I'm
be-
genuinely
Question.
asking
I
you,
have a
what is that
question.
giving you as a positive?
Let me follow up with you too. I have a question. Could you be affected? So you wake up, you look at the and it says, Roy, you didn't sleep well today. Or Roy, you actually slept really well. Could it be that there's like a placebo effect by that, where you will condition your state according to what the app is
100%.
telling you?
100%.
100%. It's an
There you go.
affirmation, right? I feel like shit. Well, shit, you're going to feel like
Okay.
shit. You know
No,
what I mean?
Okay.
100%. Like I think that no one teaches us on how to deal with those things. You gotta learn it, like
Teach
through
you
the
what?
process.
That you shouldn't look at an app to tell you how you're feeling?
No,
That
the
you
thing
don't
is,
need to
is
have
that
you don't need to have an app. I don't know what app you used to use, Gustavo, in the support team. Kuna, I think. Well, like, how are you feeling today? And you have to give like an emoji of how,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
dude.
The traffic light. No, it's
Yeah.
the traffic light.
Oh, traffic lights. That's
You use like the red, green, yellow
yeah.
to tell your mood today, and
why? Why?
yeah.
Just do your thing, man. It is what it is. And I honestly think, and there's a part of me that is concerned about Poland, for instance. I don't know how it's like in Portugal. And a big problem here in Poland is that our economy is great. We are growing. It's a stable country. We have a lot of foreign investment, but our population is shrinking by a lot. Like, this is the worst point in Poland's history since World War II, where deaths surpassed birth by like 40% or something. It's insane what is happening.
But there
here.
will be a guy, a genius guy that will say, we need immigration. And that's
We
how
need
you
more
solve it.
Pakistanis. But you know what I mean? What I'm talking about is that all that tech that tells you how you're feeling, how you're doing, the Apple Watch, your blood pressure, which I, by the way, do not know why an average person would need to know their blood pressure to begin with. Oh, you took 10,000 steps. All that information and everything at hand, all this technological advancement, and still, we're battling the very core points of society that we as a species, like I'm just talking about Poland in general as a populace, like we're regressing for the most part. So I truly believe that it's just too much that is happening. Like I would like to live like my father-in-law. You've met him. Guy has no worry, no concern in his life. Smokes cigarettes all day long. Cuts grass. Wakes up at 6. Makes his coffee. Does his thing. Constantly moving around and doing something, and that's it. And living life. He eats meat. He will cook chicken with fish. He will, make the restaurants. People go think that he's crazy. Raw meat with cooked meat. Nothing ever happened to him. No salmonella. Never got sick. Guy's a goddamn beast. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The world is going in a weird direction. And I don't like that technology is exacerbating that problem.
That's the thing. I think that we are all learning, like, because it's a very short frame of time. What has been going on? It has been going on in a very short time frame. Okay, so a lot of evolution in a few decades. Let's put it this way.
Too much progress happened very quickly.
Yes, too much
Have
progress.
you do you I know that you invest, right? Securities and indices. And I know Gustavo, you've done it in the past as well. Do you know that when you go to any of these brokerage apps, it literally says at the bottom something to the effect of that past performance of stocks is not the indicator for future performance, and 95% of the people lose money investing trading stocks. We are done as a society, man. If we have to tell that the water is hot, please be careful.
Yeah, but that's kind of tricky. So you're speaking to Rui and I, and we come from a world where the percentage is more or less the imbalance is there, but and it's easier explained, which is I can lose more often than the times that I win, as long as when I win, I had to cover all my losses, at least. So you will say a very good
Gustavo,
professional
not a lot
poker
of people
player.
have that discipline or temperament.
Wait, but just to give you some context, so if we talk about very good poker players, and if we talk about tournament level of poker players, no, for tournament format, I mean, and they probably will lose like 80% of the time. And maybe being nice, they may be losing 85% of the time. And from the 15% they win, probably 10% of that, they are making more than double of what they spent, which means from that 10%, they really need to hit really high placements.
Like a large winning pot.
Yes. So we're talking about like 20, 30, 50 times the amount they spent to get into tournament. So when that happens, it will cover a long period of time. So they can be losing 3 months and then they hit one and they're net positive for the year already. A cash player can experience a different thing, which is they will win, say, 60% of the time. But they're smaller and marginal wins. So because they're more marginal, it's way more skill intense because and math and prone to math. So you really have to do it perfectly so those margins can compound down the line to a good profit. So this very same logic applies in the investment world if you are a trader. So that this more or less the same concept when you analyze the risks. You basically need to make sure that your losses are not that big and you allow yourself to have really good wins. So this is we have to make a disclaimer, right? So this is not an advice. This is
not financial
thoughts.
advice. Yes, please don't come back to us telling that this guy made you lose money. Do your own DD.
So the idea is when you have a stop loss, you basically have a full stop, I'd say, right? You're not getting out of. If your position is big enough, you are getting out of it, but you have like a really full stop. And whereas if you're going upwards, in meaning if you're making money, your position is increasing in value, and you start, getting out in chunks
Yeah.
because that's what you should do just to capitalize
Yeah.
parts of it. There's a chunk you have to let it go just to see if it goes to the sky or not. So that will allow you to proper have a good win there. I have a really good story. There's plenty of them, I imagine, in the crypto world, but I know of a couple who invested 7,000 euro at some crypto coin. I don't know if it was a scheme or not, but most likely.
Like a pump and dump.
Yeah, I don't. We at the time they were called rug pulls, which whoever created the coin would launch the coin, and then when the
and
time
dump,
was
man.
right, they will dump them. Yeah. So they 7,000, mind you. All of a sudden that thing starts growing, and bear in mind all the numbers I'm going to say. They had the chance to cash out. Okay, so they were going 50K, 100K, 200K. They were thinking, okay, maybe we'll wait just a little bit more just to have the apartment that we just want to buy. We'll just wait for it. But then there's a bigger jump than normal, gets to 400K, 500K, and they're thinking, well, this might get to 1 million. And I think it was around 780K where they thought, well, let's wait for the 1 million, we'll cash out.
I mean, we're only
Yeah.
220K away.
It got to 960K. Okay.
Jeez.
They waited. It started going down. I don't know how fast it went,
Very fast. Rug pulls are fast.
but they were bleeding so much. I think it was around like 400K that they realized, okay, we need to sell this. And they had they had the physical thing. So they went to a friend's house because they didn't know how to do it. They went to a friend's house for dinner to help them cash out the coins. And they had dinner. And when they decided to do that, it's in the car. They got back to the car. They got robbed. They robbed the car. Whoever robbed the car took
The ledger.
the coins. Yes. So to this day, they still have the wallet. They can look at the wallet and see the contents of the wallet because obviously whoever stole it didn't know they were stealing it. And just supposed to say, if they were cashing out, say 5% of it, from time to time, allowing it to grow, but the story could be the same. You'll go down, but they at least made some money, So
They
that's
became a community member.
Exactly. So it's a good story for Reddit, right? For what's that thing?
Wall Street bets, man. Oh my God.
Exactly. Yeah,
I love that. I love that. My
That's insane.
investment philosophy is simple. First of all, always trade meme stocks, very volatile, high beta stocks. You know what I do with my index, or I did at least. And then as soon as it shoots up, which it's going to shoot up at some point, just take out your initial investment and let the rest of it ride. Like, what could it possibly get to?
Those
What
When
could go
you-
wrong?
when you say things like that's where you miss. When you say things like that, because it's going to happen eventually.
Do you
because
not
it's going to
you played
skyrocket
poker.
eventually.
You've played poker. Do you not see
doesn't
the
exist.
high?
Why do
Man-
people say those things like they are real?
Sure, but do you understand? You've played poker. You know how real the high is, man. Like when you're chasing that win and you see the numbers go up, up, up. There's no better feeling in the world than
No,
that.
but I
just
think
isn't.
that the problem is lack of planning, man. Like there's
You can't plan. There's no planning.
You can plan, like even what
You
Gustavo
can't plan by
said.
putting money in an ETF, a low index fund.
No,
Forget
no.
about it and keep
You-
investing in there.
You can invest in meme coins, in meme stocks, whatever, or stonks.
Is that
as they
really
call it.
investing or gambling? I mean,
No,
I
it
think
can-
we need to put the word on the right place.
Well, it's better than buying a car, in my opinion. So I would call
Are
it
you
investment.
joking me? How is that
No.
different? Car is a
That's-
it's a thing
that's-
for mobility. It's
No, but
it's
there-
apples
there's-
to freaking coconuts you're comparing.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you,
no,
but you
it's
cannot
not,
make
you
any
cannot
money.
compare.
Wait,
You
wait.
cannot
You
drive
cannot
your
make
kid on
any
a
money
meme
unless it's a
coin.
classic.
That's
Come on.
not true. I can register myself in Uber and just ride people. But
Oh
what I
my-
want to
yeah,
say
but
is,
Uber where it
that's-
but what I
exists. He
want to
lives in
say
a
is,
village.
it's different from investing on companies. That's what we're saying. One
Yeah.
thing is to invest in companies. When the company, regardless of what company it is, you know for a fact is that it's there for profit. So
Of course.
it will try to grow and whatnot. So it's completely different to do that than to go to, intangible things
I
like
was
meme
Listen,
coins.
I
and
also
all.
invest in companies that have a market cap of $100 billion and $10 million in revenue. These are legitimate. These are legitimate companies.
Oh yeah, but that won't make you rich. That's the problem with people nowadays. They don't want to invest for 30 years time. Nah, that's just too
bro.
much. We need
Because
we
there's
need
no
it to
plan.
Do you
happen
blame
by,
them?
by the afternoon.
But do you blame them?
I do. Yes,
I know
do.
where
No,
I'm
I
coming from.
don't.
I do.
I know where I'm coming from. We had this conversation.
What are
That
they
was-
victims? Are they victims?
No, they're not victims, but look at the macro around you today, from your perspective today.
Yeah.
Okay? I'll tell you one thing. If you go back 40, 50 years, you could buy a house here in Portugal, elsewhere, for a reasonable amount of money. That would be 5, 6, or 7x of your annual salary, average salary in Portugal or say Poland. You could buy a legitimately decent, okay apartment house, whatever, and you could live a life. Today in Poland, to do that very same thing, it's around 30x, if not
Okay.
higher.
But here's the thing. I'll give you Portugal as an example. Because Poland was a really poor country not so long ago.
Not till, yeah, like 20, 30 years ago, we
Yeah.
were pretty much even
Yeah.
better.
So and it's weird. I imagine it's weird because during the 19th, Poland was really poor, and now it's really strong. So there, it's very, very polarized. But in Portugal, by the 80s, it will be, if I'm not wrong, 2 to 4 years of the yearly average wage of a Portuguese to buy a home, and now it's 18 or 19 years, more or less, for the average. So in the big centers, outside of the centers of the biggest cities, I think it's like 14 or 13, something like that, which completely changes that. And during the 80s, there was a period of time, well, the IMF had to come here, but there was a time where people could just put up in their savings accounts and get close to 20% yearly on the money they put there. So you didn't need to know anything about investing, understanding, opening no brokerage whatsoever. You could just be, just buy treasury bonds. That's it. Just call our bank and, hey, I want to spend half my salary on treasury bonds. You'll get 20% on that. I mean, why would you want to think on anything else if you're getting 20% yearly, right? So life was very different. And coming back to what you guys were discussing before, it's not the amount of things, and I think it was Ruth that said that we are now becoming aware that it's happening. It's just that the motion is faster. The motion in itself is faster. So a war to start is faster now. The war itself is faster. Even the economic crashes, they are shorter. The time frame is shorter. So it's
But
like
they're frequent.
when, well,
It's your perception, say. It's your perception.
no.
Yes, it is.
Not the
But like, do you
perception.
think
It's
that
true,
there
it's
was?
true. It's true. It's happening.
Wait a second.
Everything
Wait
is
a
happening
second.
fast.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that from 2000, let's go back like 4 decades, like 1940s?
You don't
until
need to start off
2000s.
with the .com bubble. Go from there. Internet, right?
No,
Go from there.
no. I mean, like nowadays, it seems that everything is a crisis. Okay, everything is a crisis. Like even housing is a crisis. Is a crisis for who? Because you cannot afford a house. I understand that, but it's not a crisis. A crisis is when people cannot live. Basically, that you don't have a house. And if you go and check the stats, most of the people, at least in Portugal, they do have a house. Well, it's harder to buy one. Yes, it's the market, but they do have homes to live. So it's not a crisis.
Oh,
It's
they
just the
have
market.
their parents' home.
So wait a second. So you're telling me, like, for example, looking at the stock market, if we are on all-time highs, then we are on a crisis. because it's harder for me to buy a stock. So it's a crisis for me. I cannot buy Microsoft because it's too high. I cannot buy Google because it's too high.
High
It's on-
relative to
No,
what?
no, no.
Wait a second.
No,
it's
no,
a,
no.
it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
matter of, yes, it is. It's a matter of market. We're
Dude.
just used to, in
Let's-
my perspective, like to create, and it sells that everything is a crisis nowadays. So
Okay,
a war
let's just pull
starts in the
back a
Middle
little bit.
East.
Sure. Let's just pull back a little bit, right? You talked about these things. From what I know, when I had consciousness of what was happening around me a little bit, we had the dot-com crash. That was 2000, 2002. We had the global financial crisis, 2007, 2008. I know we all lived through it and experienced it somewhat, or the effects of it. We had the debt crisis in Europe. That was 2010, 11, I think. I remember that because 2012, I was
It's
already
just a
in Poland.
result of 2008, I would say.
Okay, sure, but I'm just talking about it was like it affected Portugal, it affected Italy, it affected Greece. I remember there was that. There was a Chinese stock market crash. I remember that. COVID-19 happened, very big. It had a good effect on the stock market, but it was a crash in a lot of ways. We had I don't know if you count that, the war in Ukraine. It did have some adverse effects, at least for us. I mean, there was inflation, everything was up. We were already coming off the tailwinds of COVID, the supply chain issues, and so on and so forth. And now, in the most latest and greatest one, is the Iranian war. I've counted 7 in the span of 2000 and 2026.
Wait, I just want to add one thing, which is searches for the Epstein files dropped 95% since the Iranian war started. I just want to highlight this, okay? I just want to say that when the Ukrainian war started, COVID ended because we don't hear about COVID anymore. I mean, what was that all about, right? And now the Iranian war started, and what about the Epstein files? I mean, finish with the TV show, please. I want to watch. I want to know how this ends. I mean, and I want to say, Gary, whoever is listening to this, if you haven't seen Bill Clinton reminiscing, looking at the pictures of himself
Oh
having
my
fun in
God.
Bahrain, just look. It's just that's funny.
You know, the
Well, but
worst
sorry,
part is
going back to the
nobody-
topic again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I just, all I'm saying is that everything is shorter just because it's faster. It's happening faster because we're all connected now. We're all interconnected now. And that interconnectivity is increased to the degree that, all our economies are intertwined. Very few countries are inside of a bubble, if any, right? So if you compare to the 1930s market crash and all that, I mean, the months it took to recover market wise, not society itself, but market wise. I mean, nowadays, I think what they say, obviously, because I'm a complete idiot when it comes to this, but what allegedly people that know this say, is that the spike will be even worse. So the crash will be even higher numbers wise, but the correction will be short as well. What
There's
we
a
don't
slight
know
problem.
is the devastation.
Sure. There's a slight problem, though. We often judge a lot of these crises and, news companies and all these different organizations that say they point to the Dow, they point to the S&P 500, whatever. A vast majority of people are not vested in the stock market. That's not how crashes are evaluated.
Fair enough, but I have a thought that
Sure.
we might not dwell on it here, which is, what if I don't think people are ready for this that I'm about to say. What if this AI bubble is not a bubble?
I think it is. I'd love to get your take on it and Rui's
I know,
take on
I
it.
know,
I
but
think
wait,
it is.
bear your thoughts. Bear with me.
Sure.
What if it's not? What if this industrial revolution comparable event is right ahead of us, and indeed hundreds of thousands of highly educated people will go unemployed, and governments will not know what to do because they have very few means. Like, I mean, I can talk Portugal about the vast majority. You know, you have nowadays capitalists leaning, right-wing leaning people saying that we will literally have to adopt a more socialism type measures because we really don't know what, how society will function for a period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the underlying level where they say we will have to adopt, like, who's we? What do you mean? Are you're the one going to be in charge? Because, I mean, singularity is it, if we get there, here's the question: if it's not the bubble, it means these things will happen.
Yeah.
So that's the question that I have is: are we ready for that not being a bubble? That's the thing, because I don't think we are, emotionally speaking. Because all of us, again, I mean, I'm now remodeling my apartment. It's for my own comfort, but there's the investment side of it as well that justifies me spending the amount of money that I'm spending. And then if my wife and I decide to buy something else, does that make sense nowadays?
Yeah.
Should we go out to another thing? Because
Yes,
like
you should.
even yeah. I mean, I don't know better than that, so I will. But the reality is, these companies, like everybody, is rushing to have the best AI company and whatnot. And I'm not talking about obviously the core ones, the Anthropics of this life or OpenAIs of this life. More so like Cursor, for example, which is I would say the number one company that is not native, is an AI layer that is the biggest one in terms of market cap. I mean, they're all rushing, but to share companies that will cease to exist in a short period of time, because with that many people employed, who's going to buy your services? Who's going to buy your products? How will they buy your products? And all of a sudden, the question becomes, who will take care of you, your government or these companies? Because, they are becoming so powerful, so embedded into society that makes it.
I don't know who said it, but I saw this on YouTube, and the question they asked was like, "Can we? But should we?"
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean,
we can do all of that. We can build the best AI agent company, blah blah blah, get people 98% more productive, whatever. Should we? Like, is that the best course of action for us as a population, for us as a species?
okay, I
You can build
have
the
two
next
answers.
hydrogen bomb, like the best scale of it will wipe out half the planet. But should we do that? Like, is
I
that
have
the
I
right
have two
course of thing?
answers,
Go ahead.
and I would have to use different languages, but I would say, if I would be American, I would say we have to, or else the Chinese will do it. I mean, if I would be Chinese, I would say we have to, or else the Americans will do it. So it's a race that now we're in, and we have to go. We can't stop because we don't know how many of us are racing. And the value of getting to the finish line is immeasurable. So, yeah, I think the motion started and it just can't be stopped.
I don't know, man. Times are weird. Where do the
Yeah.
stock market needs to drop to before we can invest, man?
I don't know. I wish I know that. I would not be here for sure. But hey,
that
I have a different perspective on that, to be honest with you guys.
Of
Go ahead.
course.
Like,
That's why you're here.
like
do tell us.
I've
Do tell us the Dalai Lama side of things.
no, I've had
Yes.
this conversation with multiple people in the tech industry as well, and we started the conversation saying that we are we are riding the wave. We are in the bubble. What I mean in the bubble is not an actual financial bubble. I mean, we are working in a bubble because we are in tech companies. And I do think that it's going to take longer than expected for this to be like, I don't know, to have a final statement on AI. Honestly, I think that everyone has been talking about AGI and all that. And according to some specialists that will take longer than expected. But so I think there's a lot of hype, as usual with nowadays society. Anything that is like growing, it has a lot of hype backing that thing. So with that said, I believe that humans have always been able to manage everything. Like even with COVID, when COVID hit, it was like nothing like that happened to the society that we were in, and it's just part of the past. AI will I don't know what's going to be, but I don't think it's going to like be the end of the world, because that would affect too many people. And it's the same thing. Like I had this discussion with a friend about the housing market, and not the housing market, but the credit loans for mortgages and whatnot. And sometimes it's like when you have too many people wanting something. Why are you saying no, Gus? You don't agree?
Because it's a rigged game, the housing market. Because
Oh,
People-
100%.
people
Yes.
go, so you go to the bank, then question, how much do you make? How much do you make? And what they come up with is the maximum number they can give you for how much you make,
Mhm.
which in turn will cause the person to go look for the biggest and best house they can buy within that number, instead of, hey, we can lend you 390K. And like, okay, let me go for a 200K house, which means I am way well within my margin. So you're inviting everybody to go after their maximums. So, and
Right.
it's the only product that the whole banking system is pushing. Is the only
Oh
product they're
man, the
pushing.
margins are great. The margins are great on
Yeah,
that.
but
Yeah. So
Who
it's
doesn't
it's
pay their
the-
mortgage?
no, that was not my point at all. My point is
Yeah.
that if AI takes over the white collar jobs, the impact would have been so big that the society and the companies that are actually producing that or trying to achieve that would not want the outcome. Therefore, this is something to
Let
to
me
be
offer you
mindful
a
of.
different
No,
perspective.
but that's the thing. The framework, the mind frame you're using now, it's not the mind frame they're using, and that's the question here. Because so what we will experience now is and the number of job posting and whatnot in the tech world will drop. Is dropping already, so it's dropping. And the number of people being laid off, it's not going up, because we're at the stage where we are enabling currently employed people to use AI to improve their output, right? So we're at that stage. So whereas I already predicted I will need to hire 10 developers, now maybe I'll keep the team that I have, because they are now outputting more. And this will happen for a period of time. And then we'll get to a stage where now indeed I can replace like half of these people, something like that. So, I mean, unless you tell me that you don't believe that this is the route we're
but
taking,
it's already
fine.
priced in.
Okay, but that's the thing. If AI keeps delivering what the general perception of what it can deliver is, it means it's not inflated. It means it's priced in, as you said. So there's no bubble. So it means that it is indeed the holy grail, the last frontier of technological
I-
revolution we should go after.
I think we're looking at AI the wrong way. I think AI is a force multiplier. It is not a force replacement.
No, that it is a multiplier in the short term. It is a replacement.
Sure, 100%. I'm not saying that it can't write cold emails or can't do cold calls in the near future. But what we are inherently getting wrong is that for that to happen, the other party needs to be accepting and willing of the change you, because at the end of the day, it's going to be either a service or a product that needs to be sold. Somebody needs to buy it.
Exactly.
So
But that's
as
the
a
thing. What if money doesn't matter? That's the thing.
then you have lopped into a world that I don't recognize, because as far as I've been alive, two things that matter: it's power, money.
Strap your
There's another
seatbelt, my
thing.
friend. Strap your seatbelt. We're going, man.
Hey, listen,
We're
listen.
definitely going.
As long as I get my steak, I get to drive my car. My
I'm with
kids are
you.
healthy. I
Yes.
don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I can
That
swing
is
for the
true.
fences.
So I believe I will be able to catch an Airbus and get to Poland, meet you, like for free, because it's an AI flying the plane and whatnot. And all this.
So long as oil does not hit $300 a barrel, I think we should be able to fly everywhere, because that is a very real possibility.
They need to be good for me, man. I need to walk. I need to walk and lose some weight.
And Ree
But-
obviously doesn't. I mean, what is ego? Walk to the beach. That's all there is to it, right? I mean, the village
Well,
life. This is all about
AI
walking,
cannot
right, Ree?
take that from me. AI cannot take that away from me. So all good.
Yeah.
Let's
yeah.
go.
I don't know who shared that article. I think it was Ryu that shared that article. Is that a lot of the tech VPs and whatnot, folks that have been working in tech for a long period of time in SaaS, are now moving away from SaaS and going into the is it white collar or blue collar, the physical work?
Blue collar.
Blue collar.
Blue collar.
I think that there is a future there. It will be
Like-
interesting, but coming back full circle.
We'll see. But there's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of unanswered questions about all of that. Like, because we tend to see things as, okay, I created this, and the potential of this is so immense that can affect that, and that in certain ways. And that's fair enough. And that scenario number one can happen. But I do think there's like 100 different scenarios that can also happen. And that right now it's really hard for us to visualize those, because
Yeah.
like we are taking into consideration productivity, labor, let's put it this way, and of course the financial side of things. So money doesn't matter anymore. Trade-offs will be significantly different, but we are not taking into consideration other aspects of it. Like, this can easily raise the question, like, about purpose, honestly. Like, with the AI, like, are you going for, like, I don't know. When I look at a founder, for example, I know that he created something, or I believe that he created something with a purpose. Usually it's to solve some sort of problem, right? So he has that purpose on creating that. So with AI, that will also be affected according to the scenario that we are putting on the table. So there's no purpose anymore for the founder to create that company. There's no purpose anymore for you to do certain things, for me to invest. There's no purpose on that. There's no whatever. So I think that the question of purpose may be a bigger one in the upcoming years. I don't know. I'm not good at predicting stuff. I'm usually really bad. But I do think that if you have something that is already threatening your career, is threatening the way that you live, it's threatening your decisions as well, as Gustavo said. Should I buy a house? Shouldn't I just stay put and see what's going on? I think that you will start thinking about what is your purpose here, with your friends, with your family, with your surroundings. What are you doing here? So I think that question, which has haunted us forever since we existed, will probably have even more, like,
You need to get out
Okay,
of the
this
village
was
more.
for you,
man.
man.
Significance.
That's why you have alcohol, man. I mean, in the end of the day,
Right, there's
why
a,
come
yeah,
alcohol.
that's a way. That's a way.
just be with your family, be with your friends, enjoy the time, be there. Don't think about anything else.
Come to Poland.
Make it make it purposeful, and that's the only thing that matters in life. I mean, God forbid if you have dementia, but the only thing that really for now they can steal from you is your thoughts and memories. We will get there, my friend.
We'll
Even
get
though you
there.
don't believe it, we
Neuralink.
will get there. Oh, bro, listen, I'll just touch myself up. Whatever they come out with, that's fine.
So long as
Well,
I get a
I'm-
subscription fee paid to me every month,
I'll sell my data. I'll sell my data.
I'll take it. It's not like they
I
don't
don't
have
think
enough
they
of
want my
Pakistani.
thoughts. I don't think they want my thoughts, man. Yeah, I mean, this is a never evolving conversation. I'm sure, and we were not very much philosophical, to be honest. We like to be, but and I think we're actually good at some things, but more on the ground level. I don't think about purpose that much. I just feel it. And I think that the vast majority of people operate that way. That like it just happens. You know, you become a father and all of a sudden you devote to it, and then it gives you meaning to all other things you might be doing. Some other things lose meaning, and that's how you go. You just this will happen. Maybe we usually say that fortunate are those who know their meaning in the life, right? But I think it's both a blessing and a curse. So I don't know. Winging it seems cool, and I guess we will wing it as the AI comes.
Absolutely. It's a good point as any to end it. Really appreciate it, folks. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll say next week.
Thank you.
Ciao.